So, have you folks been keeping up with the news lately? Oh, not the real news. I'm talking about the fake news. You know, the stuff that's so outrageous you check to see if your calendar says April 1st every day. Like this headline I stumbled upon: local man marries pizza, claims it's a saucy relationship. Now that's a headline that's got some extra cheese. This guy, he's living the dream, right? Who needs a soulmate when you've got a pizza mate? I bet their first dance was to That's Amore. And just imagine the arguments. Honey, you're being too crusty today, or the late night conversations. I've got a slice of my mind to share with you, pepperoni. But let's not be too quick to judge. I mean, pizza has never let me down. It's always hot, always delicious, and it doesn't talk back. But marriage? I mean, I love pizza, but I'm not ready for that level of commitment. I'm just in it for the toppings. And then there's the political fake news. Oh boy, do we have a doozy for you today? Politician admits he's actually 3 kids in a trench coat. I know, it sounds like the plot of a Saturday morning cartoon, but stick with me here. Can you just imagine the scene? The politician standing at the podium, the press conference in full swing. He clears his throat, leans into the microphone and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, I have a confession to make. I am not, in fact, a middle-aged man with a receding hairline and questionable fashion choices. No, I am actually 3 10-year-olds stacked on top of each other hiding in a trench coat." I mean, honestly, it explains so much, doesn't it? The constant snack breaks during policy meetings, the tantrums when things didn't go his way, the insistence on having a playground installed in the Capitol building. It all makes sense now, doesn't it? But it's the policy decisions that really give it away. Free ice cream for everyone, nap time mandatory for all government officials. And let's not forget the infamous no homework bill that was passed last week. I mean, I'm all for work-life balance, but this is taking it to a whole new level. And when asked about his stance on international relations, he said, "I think we should all just be friends and share our toys." Now, I'm no expert, but I'm pretty sure that's not how international diplomacy works. And the funniest part is, his approval ratings have never been higher. I guess there's something to be said for honesty in politics, even if it's coming from a trio of 10-year-olds. But then again, maybe we've had it all wrong. Maybe what we need is a little more playground politics. A little more honesty, a little more fun, who knows? Maybe the next president will be a kindergartner. At least we'll get some decent playgrounds out of it. Tech news is another gold mine. There's this one about a new smart fridge only opens if you can solve a math problem. I mean, who needs a security system when you have a fridge that doubles as a math tutor? You can imagine the scene. It's late at night, you're sneaking to the kitchen for a midnight snack, and instead of a stealthy operation, you're standing there mumbling, "Carry the 1, divide by 7. And if you're not up to speed with your equations, you can kiss that leftover lasagna goodbye. Now, for those of you who are mathematically challenged, don't worry, the fridge also accepts bribes. Just slip a few extra batteries into its power slot and voila, problem solved, literally. But wait, there's more. The same tech wizards who brought you the Math Whiz fridge have also invented a toaster that only works if you can recite Shakespeare. Yes, you heard that right. Your morning toast now comes with a side of the bard. To be or not to be toasted, that is the question. I mean, who knew breakfast could be so dramatic? Seriously though, can you imagine the chaos in households every morning? Honey, have you seen my complete works of Shakespeare? I think it's next to the coffee maker that only brews when you recite a haiku. And heaven forbid you should stumble over a line. Is this a bagel I see before me, leaning seductively toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. And the toaster's like, nope, that's a muffin, buddy, try again. Now I love Shakespeare as much as the next guy, but I draw the line at performing a soliloquy for my appliances. I mean, what's next? A blender that only blends if you can name all the elements on the periodic table? I can see it now. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, oh forget it, I'll just have a sandwich. But hey, at least it's keeping us on our toes, and who knows? Maybe next week they'll come out with a microwave that only works if you can recite the Gettysburg Address. Just remember, 77 years ago, our forefathers brought forth upon this continent a new microwave. Or, something like that. To toast or not to toast, that is the question. Fashion fake news is the best. The other day I read a headline that said, latest trend, invisible clothes, be fashionable and invisible. I mean, who wouldn't want to be invisible? Think of all the pranks you could pull, and the savings on laundry detergent alone would be monumental. But here's the catch. You see, I thought it would be a fantastic idea to try out this new trend. So, I ordered an invisible suit online. And let me tell you, the shipping was super fast. I mean, there was nothing in the box when it arrived. Now I'm a pretty confident guy, so I decided to wear my new invisible outfit to a party. I strutted in, feeling like the king of the world, ready to make a fashion statement. But instead of gasps of admiration, I was met with raised eyebrows and awkward stares. Turns out, being invisible only applies to your fashion sense. The host, trying to be polite, said, "Bold choice, going with the emperor's new clothes vibe." I stood there shivering in my invisible suit, realizing that I'd become the punchline of my own joke. Then the fashion police showed up. No, not the real ones. The group of fashion-forward friends who deem themselves the final word on what's hot and what's not. They circled around me, looking me up and down with a mix of amusement and horror. One of them said, "Darling, invisibility might be in, but hypothermia is so last season." So, there I was, at a party, in my invisible suit, freezing and fashionably embarrassed. It was a cold, hard lesson in fashion literacy. And let me tell you, it's not easy explaining to your dry cleaner why you're bringing in an empty hanger. But hey, at least I was a trendsetter, right? Even if the trend was Emperor's New Clothes meets Arctic Explorer. I've never been so fashionably embarrassed and cold at the same time. Don't get me started on celebrity fake news. Here we have a tale that's as solid as a rock, literally. I stumbled upon a headline the other day that read, "Famous actor adopts pet rock, claims it's low maintenance." Now, I'm all for pet adoption, but I think this guy might have taken rock solid a bit too literally. Apparently this actor, who shall remain nameless, decided that traditional pets were too mainstream, cats too aloof, dogs too needy, fish too watery. So he went for a pet that's as low maintenance as it gets, a pet rock. Yes, you heard it right, a pet rock. Now I'm not saying I'm an expert on pets, but I'm pretty sure they're supposed to move, or breathe, or do something. This rock doesn't even roll, folks. I mean, what does he do when he takes it for a walk? Drag it along on a leash? And imagine the chaos at the vet's office. "Doc, I'm worried. My pet hasn't moved in 6 months." But the story doesn't stop there. No, it gets even better. Our actor friend claims that his pet rock is low maintenance. Well, of course it is. It's not like it's going to run off and chase squirrels or demand belly rubs at 3 in the morning. But here comes the twist. According to the same article, the actor reported that his pet rock started showing some diva-like behavior. It refused to sit on anything but a velvet cushion and demanded to be bathed in mineral water. And worst of all, it started insisting on a diet of designer gravel. Yes, designer gravel. I didn't even know that was a thing. Imagine the actor's predicament. "Waiter, can we have 2 menus please, one for me and one for my rock, and can you make sure the gravel is gluten-free?" Well, sure, but wait until it starts demanding designer gravel. Hollywood, am I right? Let's not forget the tech world. Always buzzing with innovations. I heard about this new smartphone, folks. Get this, its only feature is, drumroll please, making calls. I mean, what a concept, right? A phone that phones. This is like finding out your toaster can actually toast. Who knew? It's being hailed as the revolutionary back-to-basics model. I guess we're just getting nostalgic for the simpler times when a phone was just a phone, not a camera, GPS, gaming console, and occasional paperweight. The tech gurus are all giddy, saying it's a game changer. Game changer? The only game it's changing is Candy Crush because, well, you can't play it anymore. Who knows what's next in this tech world roundabout? Maybe they'll reintroduce the carrier pigeon. It's got unlimited airtime. Imagine that. New Pigeon 2.0, now with GPS and unlimited airtime. Just make sure you're not underneath when they're transmitting data. But you know what? In a world full of fake news, laughter might just be the realest thing we've got. I mean, who needs a reality check when you can have a hilarity check, right? I'm not saying we should ignore the real news, but when the headlines start to get you down, a good chuckle can be a lifesaver. Whether it's a man marrying a pizza, a politician being 3 kids in a trench coat, or a fridge that's suddenly smarter than you, these stories are a reminder not to take life too seriously. They're like the sprinkles on top of the sundae of life. Sure, they don't add much nutritional value, but they sure make things more colorful and fun. And let's face it, we could all use a little more fun in our lives. If we can't laugh at a story about an actor adopting a pet rock or invisible clothes becoming the latest fashion trend, then what can we laugh at? I mean, these stories are so ridiculous, they're practically begging to be laughed at. Then there's the tech world, always keeping us on our toes. One day it's a fridge that wants to test our math skills, and the next, it's a smartphone that only makes calls. It's like they're trying to keep us entertained as much as they're trying to innovate. So don't let the absurdity of these stories get you down. Instead, let them lift you up. Let them remind you that the world is a weird and wonderful place. And remember, the more ridiculous the story, the more laughter it brings, and that's the real news. Laughter is the headline that never gets old. It's the one constant in a world that's constantly changing. It's the story that's always trending, the meme that never dies, the punchline that keeps on giving. So folks, we've come to the end of our fake news transmission here at the Quirky Chronicle channel. Be sure to share your own ridiculous fake news stories in the comments section below. Let's keep this silly laughter train going, because in the end, isn't it the funny stories that we remember the most? And isn't that the best kind of news there is?